In 1128, a knight walked into a vault in Paris. He handed over a single piece of parchment and walked out with gold in Jerusalem. 3,000 miles away, no banks, no wire transfers, no armed gold shipments. Just a receipt, sealed with the stamp of the poor fellow soldiers of Christ and the Temple of Solomon. But here is what does not add up. The Templars were not bankers. They were monks. They had taken strict vows of poverty. They were forbidden from touching money. So how did a group of broke monks build the first international financial system in human history? The answer is not in your history books. It is hidden in a ledger that was supposed to be burned to ash in 1307. And what it reveals isn't just about medieval finance. It is about the exact system you are using to buy your coffee right now. To understand the mechanism, you have to understand the blood on the roads. The year is 1119. The Crusades are in full swing. Thousands of European pilgrims are traveling to the Holy Land, and they are walking into a meat grinder. Not just from swords and arrows, but from highwaymen. A pilgrim would save for years, strap a heavy pouch of silver coins to his waist, and start walking. By the time he reached the borders of the Byzantine Empire, he was usually robbed, ransomed, or dead. The church needed a solution. They needed a way to move wealth without moving physical wealth. Enter the Knights Templar, founded by 9 French knights. Their official mission was to protect pilgrims on the road to Jerusalem. But their real innovation had nothing to do with swords. It had everything to do with accounting. Textbooks will tell you the Templars got rich because the Pope gave them tax exemptions. That is a convenient half-truth. The real mechanism was a primitive, yet brilliant, letters of credit system. Here is exactly how it worked. A pilgrim would walk into a Templar preceptory in London or Paris before his journey. He would hand over his physical gold or silver to the Templar treasurer. In exchange, the treasurer would give him a coded document. This was not just a receipt. It was encrypted with a complex cipher that only the Templar network could read. The pilgrim would sew this document into the lining of his cloak. He now carried 0 physical wealth. If bandits stopped him, they found nothing. When the pilgrim finally arrived in Jerusalem, he would walk into the local Templar fortress, present the coded document, and the local treasurer would verify the cipher and hand over the exact amount of gold, minus a small, highly profitable fee. The Templars had one massive problem. They were moving vast amounts of wealth across hostile territories, and the solution they found should have been impossible to secure. But it wasn't. Because of a single, brutal mechanism nobody was supposed to question, absolute monopoly on trust, they didn't just guard the money, they became the money. This system was so efficient that it quickly expanded beyond pilgrims. Kings began to use it. King Louis VII of France used the Templar network to fund his entire Second Crusade. The French royal treasury was literally moved to the Templar headquarters in Paris, known as the Temple. The Templars were no longer just protecting wealth. They were managing the sovereign debt of Europe's most powerful monarchs. They invented the concept of the checking account. They invented the concept of the wire transfer. They even invented the concept of the ATM, allowing pilgrims to withdraw funds in installments along their route. They were printing value out of thin air, backed only by their reputation and their terrifying military enforcement. Was this a financial system designed to empower the faithful, or was it designed to quietly siphon the wealth of Europe into a single, untouchable fortress? Drop your answer in the comments. Because the ledger shows a much darker reality. By the early 1300s, the Templars were the wealthiest organization on the planet. They owned a fleet of ships, hundreds of castles, and vast tracts of farmland. They were the creditors to kings. And that is exactly what killed them. King Philip IV of France was deeply in debt to the order. He had fought expensive wars, and the Templars held his markers. He could not afford to pay them back. So, he decided to erase the debt. On Friday, the 13th of October, 1307, Philip launched a coordinated dawn raid across France. Hundreds of Templars, including the Grand Master Jacques de Molay, were arrested simultaneously. The charges were fabricated: heresy, spitting on the cross, and devil worship. But the real charge was financial insolvency masked as a holy purge. Philip seized their treasuries, melted down their assets, and cancelled his debts. The order was officially disbanded by the Pope a few years later. The leaders were burned at the stake. The physical gold was scattered or stolen, but the mechanism survived. The Templars proved that money does not need to be a physical object. It only needs to be a trusted record. When you tap your card at a store today, or send money across the globe with a single click, you are not moving physical currency. You are updating a ledger. You are using the exact same architectural blueprint the Templars built in the 12th century. They were destroyed for their wealth, but their invention became the foundation of the modern global economy. If the mechanism we just described sounds familiar, it should. We cover the ledger, not the legend. Subscribe, because next week, we are exposing the legal loophole that allowed a single Dutch company to buy an entire country without ever selling a single product.